Our pal, our part of Best Buckeye coverage, Bill Conley, joins us on the live line right now. And Bill, I got to ask, right there in Matt Sports, he's got the Nebraska coach, and he says loud and clear, Ohio State is a better team now than they were a year ago. I want to know, how do you know that playing Cincinnati, Indiana, and Miami?
Well, I think, first of all, Joe, look at defense. I mean, we're one of the best defensive teams in the country, and I think he's exactly right that this isn't a better Ohio State, but I think Nebraska is a better team than a year ago, too.
So given that, then, 17-point right now is the spread on the game with Ohio State being favored. Do you feel like that's right since we're playing on the road?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Matt a little bit on this one. I think it's going to be a little closer to what most people think. I think this may be the first game that actually goes into the fourth quarter because we jumped on people so early. And our only away game is in Indiana, and a football game in Indiana is like a Sunday social. Bring your picnic lunch. They don't get too fired up over there. But I think this Nebraska, those fans are crazy out there. Big Red, they go nuts. So I think we'll have to play for four quarters.
Yeah, offensively, Ohio State is doing great defensively, third in the country. They're actually third in total in offense and third in defense right now nationally. But they haven't seen an offense, Bill, like Nebraska's. Adrian Martinez is, a dynamic player. I mentioned this Wandale Robinson, the freshman, J.D. Spielman. What is the key when you play an offense like this? Nebraska, they spread it out. They have a lot of weapons. What's the key for Ohio State defensively to kind of keep that in check?
Well, first of all, you got to stop the big play. That's something we're much better at this year, Matt, than we were a year ago. And they're a team, Illinois, they got behind, they came back. Now, Illinois is not the juggernaut of the world or anything like that, but they have the potential of big plays. And Martinez himself, like you said, is a great athlete, and those other guys. This is a good, skilled, athletic group. I'd say one of the top three teams we'll see in terms of offensive skill. Fortunately, the defense doesn't quite show the same thing, but they only had one game. The game against Northern Illinois, they won 44-8, where they actually didn't have to play four quarters themselves. So, they've got some potential, but I think our offense should be able to move the ball on.
I mentioned to Joel, speaking of Nebraska offensively, they would have been comfortably winning that game last week against Illinois. Were it not for turnovers. They turned the ball over. Yeah. It gave Illinois a chance to win. If you're a defense like Ohio State and you see a team that has this turnover issue, which I'm sure the Scott Frost's working on to try to address, does it change anything? I mean, are you going into it hungry? Hey, we can produce some. Maybe we can get a defensive touchdown. What's their thought process going into a game like that?
No, I think you got a coach to get turnovers against everybody, every play on defense. You go in there, the first guy makes a tackle, second, third guy, they try to rake the ball out of the runner's arms. And the thing about our secondary, they're breaking so well on the football right now because we force teams to throw a lot. When a team throws a lot, there's a greater chance of being an interception. Just in sheer numbers and with the pressure we get up front. So, that's something you preach all the time in terms of defense. So I don't think it'll be anything different.
Bill Conley, our guest, talking Buckeyes on News Radio 610 WTVN. So, Bill, whether people love or hate or somewhere in the middle on ESPN, game day is going to be in town. Mm-hmm. It's been like a dozen years since game day has been in Nebraska. And there are people that will read into that and say, well, hey, these guys think maybe there's upset potential. They want to be on scene for that kind of thing. Do you read anything into that yourself?
Not a lot, because there might not be other great games to go to this week. I mean, this might be one of the better ones. And I think they do like to try to change it up a little bit. And because of tradition, Nebraska is fourth all-time winning football program. So, you're going to have two schools are in the top four of all-time wins, and I think that's why they picked them.
All right, before I let you go, we got to ask you, another one of the all-time winningest programs of all time is up north of us, Michigan.
Okay.
They have the issue last week against Wisconsin. It feels like the rumblings about Jim Harbaugh from the fan base in the last 2 days. I've just read more people fed up with it He had always been seemingly getting the benefit of the doubt. How much responsibility do you put on Jim Harbaugh for failing to ever win a significant game? He's winless as an underdog at Michigan. How much of it is on him? How much of it is it just they're not as good? What are you seeing with Michigan in failing to even be competitive in that game last week?
Yeah, I think, first of all, Jim Harbaugh has a tendency to make everything about himself. He likes the spotlight on him when things are going good. When things are a different story. Matter of fact, I heard the latest news up there. They got to watch. They got a special guy assigned to watch to make sure he don't jump off the top of the stadium before the game now. I mean, it's getting rough up there. But I have never seen a Michigan team, I don't think, handled as much as Wisconsin's offensive line handled their defensive line. They knocked them back into the linebackers' laps. They completely dominated that team. And, yeah, he's going to have to get it turned around. You lose more games and then lose to the arch rival, Ohio State, then he's going to fast train out town.
No doubt. I mean, that's going to be the key for him if he can win against the Buckeyes.
And he better win this week. They play Rutgers. Otherwise, he will be jumping off the top of that stadium. Bill.
They'll have to tie him down.
No doubt. Bill, great stuff. Enjoy the rest of your week, my friend. That's Bill Conley, Matt McCoy talking Buckeyes on News Radio 610 WTVN.